Okay, if you want to talk about, here we are. Welcome to this week's Simplified Relationship Show, where we're going to talk all things relationships when it comes to stories around the world and how to improve them. So let's get started and get some music turned off. Okay, that wasn't a good start. When you want technology to work and it doesn't want to play along with you, it makes things a little bit awkward. Welcome. I'm Jay from JMC, your relationship coach, here with this week's episode of Simplified Relationships. This is a soft release of it. We only started a week or so ago. And welcome each and every one of you here to this week's episode. For those of you who do not know, I'm Jayson Mair. I've been a relationship coach for over 16 years, helping those with their relationships and their struggles, and we've even got a few of them on right now. Hey, Bree, welcome to the show. And Paul in Melbourne, thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. And hope everyone's had a wonderful weekend. It's strange world we're in at the moment, isn't it? Really, with all sorts of, everything. It's not just relationships, but it's definitely the relationships also seem to be copping a bit of a whack when it comes to what's going on with, we won't say the C word, will we? It's a bit crazy. Nick, wow, thank you very much for joining in, buddy. Welcome to the show. And what the aim of the show is, and still a bit of fine-tuning, but we're here to discuss all things relationships. If you're not aware, I do 2 shows a week. We have Ask Jay on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. I have to get that right because that's just started here in Australia this morning. And even though I was saying it about 2 weeks ago. And this one, where we're going to talk all things relationships, we will be having people on it as well in this episode, in this program. Not this week, unfortunately, due to someone who's sick, they weren't able to make it this week. But we will have different people on. Some will be other relationship experts. Some will be just people like yourselves who want to discuss different struggles that you've had in your lives when it comes to relationships. Because you might think you're the only one, but there are so many people that are having relationship struggles. They're just, it's not just 1 or 2 people, it's everyone. So you need to, if you're sitting there thinking, why is it me? Why can I not find a guy? Why can I not find a girl or a great relationship? Or why is my relationship struggling? And what am I doing right or wrong? That's why I have a job, because you're not the only one. If we want to go into stats, for example, as the recent, I think it was 2017 stats, just in Australia alone, and it really wasn't much difference in these statistics in the UK and even the US. And it was like 52.7% of marriages, first marriages, end in divorce. I say first because second marriages were like 56.4, and it was as high as nearly 58% of third marriages ended in divorce. So, and that's not even taking into consideration relationships that don't even make it down the aisle. Now, these are registered weddings, marriages. So there's a lot that get engaged and it doesn't happen. There's a lot that, get together for years. I know many had a client a couple of years ago where they had been together, I think it was like 15 years, decided to get married. 19 months later, done. So it's amazing. It's amazing the psychology of what goes through people's heads when they think about getting married and they're committed. People are being together 10, 15 years, and then they go, okay, let's walk down the aisle. So as a relationship coach, I would ask straight away first, what was behind them not getting married in the first place? And a lot of the times it's like, well, we didn't feel that we needed to. We were comfy, and 3 years turned into 6, turned into 10, turned into 15. And then you get others that will say that, oh, well, we didn't believe in it. And then later on we got into it and went, yeah, okay. But then there was all these dramas. There was all these issues going on, and it was amazing. It's amazing how many outside influences go on in relationship breakups. And I'm not just talking about social media and stuff like that. I'm talking about even friends, family, especially family. And, the parents of, the husband, not getting along with the wife, or the parents of the wife not getting along with the husband, or brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts and all sorts. And it's like, you know what? It's hard enough. It's hard enough trying to make a relationship last just between two people with especially now with, the everyday, grind of work and if there's kids, that's another pressure that's put on. And then you've got outside people interfering and stuff. And then you've got all sorts of things that come into it, like, outside influences, like I said, with relatives, also social media, people comparing themselves to others. And it saddens me when, if you look at the couple together and what they have, it works well. But then all these other, and not just when all the outside influences, but some of those outside influences change people as well. They start to like other things, and they like to start to do other things and stuff like that. And one person grows and the other person doesn't. So it gets a bit rough sometimes. So, and then you've got the added bonus of what we're going through in the world right now. I won't say the word, I nearly said it, but I won't, because we have enough media talking about it. But what I will discuss with it is the biggest pressure that is putting on people right now when it comes to our current situation is people that have not been together for long periods of time. Let me just take a little, I'm going to turn this around a little bit. Have you ever, in your younger years, you've had friends that you've like, we're best friends, we're best buddies, we're best girlfriends, we're great, whatever. Let's all move in together. How many of you would go back and do that all over again? Am I right? We love our best friends, but to live with them, sometimes it's not always the case. You've got people that, might, don't pick up their clothes, leave the kitchen in a mess, not put dishes in the dishwasher, leave the toilet seat up, want your dog to stay outside, but your dog or cat's an inside animal, all sorts of things like that. Well, that's what happens in relationships. And that is the reason why sometimes we need to say to people, that, again, you'd think I'd turn the phone off, wouldn't I? But no. You'll say to people, you've got to realize that when you make a commitment to this person and you're going to move in with them, there's a lot of things that when you've been living apart, it's been good. You spend time together. You might stay over at his house a couple of times and stay over at her house a couple of times. And I can guarantee you now, when you're going to her house, she's running around like a crazy to clean up and at least make it look respectable. The guy might just go, pick a few things up or, dust off his pillows or whatever else. Well, not me. I'm a little bit cleaner than that. But, you that's how it is. It's how you do washing. So you're taking on someone else's whole life. You see bits and pieces of it, but when you live with them, it's a big thing. So now there are a lot of people that, okay, in Australia here, for example, and it is in a lot of countries, there are what they call FIFO workers. They're fly in, fly out workers. So they're people that go off and work at mines. They work in other states, even work on oil rigs, other countries, stuff like that. And they're in and out. And there's a lot of struggles when it comes to that. A lot of people will, sort of think, oh, that'd be great sort of thing. You got your time and everything else. You got kids for starters. Let's not get into that, because the mum or the dad, whoever is the parent at home, has a set routine for the kids. And then the other parent walks in and goes, hey, it's playtime with the kids. And what happens is all hell breaks loose. All routines are out the window and everything, while the other parent is home, and then it goes crazy again. So there are so many different aspects. But right now, a lot of them are not flying out anywhere. A lot of them are not going to work. I've got people that I know that have been married for 20 years or are spending more time now because they've got a desk in that one side of the lounge room for the wife, and they've got another desk on that side of the lounge room or in the other office for the husband. And then they've got the two kids in another room doing schooling. So normally if you have the pressures of work, you would well, it's lunchtime, I'm going to go outside and go for a walk, or you might be a smoker and have a smoke or whatever. Well, now, you've got the other half coming out going, oh, how's my... Don't talk to me right now. Don't talk to me right now. No, don't talk to me. Mom, come here. No, Mum's at work right now. Can't deal with it. Or Dad's at work right now. Can't pretend I'm not here. Pretend I'm usually at work and we'll be fine. And that's what is happening. So people are, and there's no, at first even I thought, wow, it's a great idea that, people are working from home, because then they're not having to get up early. They don't have to sit in traffic for 1 to 2 hours to drive to work. And you think, fantastic. I can just get up, put a shirt and a jacket on the top, leave my PJs at the bottom. I can do my Zoom calls and everything else. But what happens is we talk about work-life balance. What's going on with that? What's going on with that? Where is the balance? Okay, if you've got a bungalow or something outside your house and you can go out, or you've got it in the garage and you get dressed and you walk out and you go to the garage and that's your office and you deal with that. You stay there 9 to 5. You might go out the office, the garage door, and go outside and go for a drive like you would normally at work. Great. But if you're going back inside to home and out and everything else, that line between home and work is blurred. And then, you got bosses ringing you at all sorts of hours going, well, you're home anyway, just get on the computer. No. That's where you got to start to get some boundaries on it. So, and you've got to say, boss, 5 o'clock, I check out. All right. You ring me afterwards. My office is shut. I lock the door. I ain't going in there. He doesn't need to know that it's your bedroom or whatever, unless it looks like it. Get one of those virtual backgrounds so he can't see where your office is. All right. Good idea. But that's what happens. It's just gets really hectic. Which leads me to, before we get into it, I'm going to jump into the question. I'm going to jump into two things coming up right now. The question of the week, which I'm going to bring up for you in a moment. And also, the old way of relationships was the old relationship, the workplace relationship. Well, I got a story for you that's telling us that the old workplace relationships look like they may be over. Well, they're kind of over when we're stuck at home working as well, isn't it? So let me just jump in and say hello to a few people that have joined us tonight. Kenny Robinson from Sydney. Welcome, Kenny. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. Carl, mate, brother, how are you, buddy? Carl from the Gold Coast. Bree. No, yes, exactly. Yes way, Bree. Yes way. We got Claudia over in Europe. Welcome, Claudia. Hey, Jay. I keep forgetting I can bring these up on the screen. So let me just hang on a sec. We got to get this right. I got to get this right. Hang on. I got to get rid of this. And then I can get into this and bring up so it's not coming over the top. So we got Kenny there. We got Carl. Brianna, yes. No, yes way. Yes way. Claudia, good to see you. You're so right. Moving in together is a completely different stage. First real test of any relationship. Exactly right. I mean, it doesn't matter. Someone I'm close to at the moment said that they were living with their sister for a while, and they thought a great time. They're moving back to town. They move into the sister. Fantastic. But then after about 4 months, the sister, being only a couple of years older, was saying, well, you need to, I don't want you having friends over. What about that? You're not allowed to have friends over. Oh, no boyfriends over, no girlfriends over, no. And I was like, hang on a sec. We both pay half the rent here. And you're not allowing me to do what? You got to realize that, and that's where it gets to a point. And it was a hard decision. But even after 6 months, she had to say, look, I'm I've enjoyed living with you, but I just feel like I need my own space. I need my own place and stuff like that. So she started looking around, and then the sister decided to move in. I think she went to move in with another relative, and she said, "Well, I might stay here." So she took over the place and stayed there. Now that was a hard thing to make because she loves her sister. They're very close, but then when they're living together, it puts pressure on it. So it makes it very hard to sort of, deal with that. So, Rosie, how are we? Exactly what I was getting used to, separating work and home life. Now it's all mixed up. Yes, exactly. You know what I'm talking about, Rose. Seriously, you know it firsthand. So yeah, and yep, she misses her work wife. Who doesn't miss? Seriously, I know work's not a pain in the butt, but who isn't missing? Their work colleagues and that stuff like that. Not all of them, not their bosses, but sometimes you get in there and have a bit of a chat before start work, and then during your lunch breaks and whatever else, you might chat in the office about certain things. It does get a little you miss that after a while, so it gets a bit tough, sort of things. So, Joe, thanks for setting up a workplace in a kitchen isn't ideal, but it's very real for some overcrowded households at the moment. Yeah. Now, we'll go there, Joe. Let's go there. Right next to the kitchen. We're talking what we're all dealing with right now, but having it at home, when you're at work, you don't sit there and you have chips and whatever else. But now you might be like you're at work and you're like, a bit tired. You might just get up, go to the fridge. Next minute, you've made 3 toasted sandwiches and poured yourself I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what drinks you have, but, you pour yourself a water, you might pour yourself a soft drink. Next minute, someone calls and you talk. And next minute, like, I got to get back to work because you're not in work mode. So if you're doing it in your kitchen, like you say there, yeah, tough call. It really is. So, Drew, thank you, buddy. Thank you for jumping in and saying hello. It's so good to see you. We're going to catch up soon and talk, but good to see you here, man. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope everything's going with you and Christy as well. We've got Claudia, what she's saying. Separating life and work is futile, never really worked. Maybe physically, never mentally and emotionally, exactly. I fought it a long time. The result, exhaustion. Accepting and arranging things differently makes much more sense. Now, anyone who wants to sort of talk work-related relationships and so forth like that, and how to get a bit more structure from working from home, jump on Claudia's website. This girl's very switched on when it comes to organizational skills and stuff like that, but especially around the workplace, because that's her thing. That's what she does. So if you want some tips and advice, go jump over, look up Claudia, H-E-E-S-E. I think you said you're in Denmark. Correct me if I'm wrong, Claudia. I think you said Denmark. Sorry if I've forgotten. Yeah, it's a really tough gig when it comes to that. Michelle, thank you for joining us. There is not as much to share at the end of the day as you've been home with your partner. That, my friends, is the quote of the day. That is exactly the key to relationships. Now, and this is why it's hard at the moment for a lot of people when it comes to relationships, because, sorry, Claudia, Germany, my bad. You'd think I'd know by now. You've told me enough times. So sorry about that. Thank you. Yeah, as Michelle was saying there, when I'm working with couples and so forth, there are some couples that want to stick together. They want to do everything together. They want to hang out together. They want to, shopping together, go to the beach together. They do everything together. The downfall I've found, and it's been done in quite a few researchers, and we will get over to the story we're talking about at the moment before as well. But one of the biggest things that people struggle with is they lose their identity. Because I always say, if you're in a relationship, you need to have your time, my time, and then our time. So you need your time to, if you go out and have a girls' night out with the girls, or, you go hang with family occasionally and stuff, I do the same. And that's when you're living together and you also have your time together. Main reason being is because you keep growing, you keep learning, you're learning from other stuff, and then you come in, and then when you get home from work at night, you're like, hey, babe, how was work? Yeah, it was good. Right now, it's you walk from the lounge in the kitchen, how was work? What do you freaking think? Have you not heard me yelling from the bloody office because the idiots can't do their job? Huh? How do you think I'm feeling? And everyone's like, whoa, Jesus. Because you don't have that half an hour or whatever, driving home, cranking the music up. It's like when you finish work, you want to walk out your home, jump in the car, drive around the block for half an hour, and then come back home and walk in and go, hi, honey, I'm home. Because it gives you half an hour to get out and just get rid of everything out of your head. But then when you're in the same house together, there's no separation. Am I right? Well, there's the tip of the quote of the day from Michelle. Thank you for that, because that's what we're talking about. It's getting crazier. It really is. So, yeah. So anyway, as I was saying before, we're going to cover a couple of stories tonight, and I've got a couple of doozies coming up for you. But first thing first, I'm going to chuck a question, and I usually pull them out of a pack of cards I've done, but I've now been able to pull these up on a screenshot, and it's not coming up properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it for you on the screen. So just give me a moment. So what we're going to do is I'm going to throw up a question. Now you can answer it in the comments right now, or you can answer in the comments later. And if you can, put hashtag Q&A and then the answer, just so if I'm going back through it later on, I can see what you're referring to, which is this question. Because we're talking relationships, I like to throw these in. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump across and have a look at this. There is today's question, which is, what things does your partner appreciate about you, and what things, I've got an S there, what things do you appreciate about them? And when was the last time you told each other seriously? Now, I don't mean seriously, you told them seriously, but you didn't go, yeah, I love you, but really told them, I really appreciate you. Seriously, because this is something we need to do a lot of right now, because we are, if there are couples living together right now, I know there's quite a few of you that are singles or living with kids and stuff like that. Do it with your kids. Do it with your friends. This doesn't have to be just about partners. This should be even about partners and also people that are close to you or that you appreciate. They might be someone at a shop. They might be a work colleague that you don't see much anymore, and you give them a call and you go, you know what? Thank you. And they're like, what? It's my job. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of people doing their jobs that don't do their job as well as you're doing it right now. So, and you doing your job makes my job easier. Who has someone that makes their job or their life easier, but just doing a few little things or always throwing ideas at them? I mean, some of you guys that are on right now have made my job easier by throwing me a couple of ideas to discuss that you want me to discuss. Hey, I appreciate that. Yes, I have a lot of information, but it's not about me. It's about, I want to give the information that you guys, really want to hear about. So the first couple of weeks, they're going to be a couple of random stories, but the more that you guys send some of these stories in, which I've got a few here today, it makes my job easier, because if you think it's a good story and it's something to talk about, I tell you now, there's hundreds, maybe thousands of people who need to hear it as well. Am I right? Right. So anyway, as I was saying, if you're going to answer this in the comments, just put hashtag Q&A and then put the answer, what things does your partner appreciate you, or what things do you appreciate about them or anyone that makes your life easier, and when was the last time you actually expressed it to them? Seriously. I've done it with my coffee shop. This coffee shop I go to, I'd only been going probably a couple of weeks, and it was only like twice a week. And the lady there would rock up and she'd go, almond chai large. I'm like, yeah. It was like after the third or fourth time. And a couple of times I was there, and she makes it perfect, because sometimes people make it too hot, and some people like it hot. That's fine. And some people don't like it hot. I just go, just make it not too hot, and she makes it the perfect temperature. And the amount of times I've run over and grab it, and I've grabbed it, I've taken a sweat, I'm like, oh, beautiful. And then I get to the lights, which is not far, and I'll turn around and go back and I go, mate, thank you. And she'd go, And I go, thank you. You always make it the perfect temperature. You always it just always tastes good. So thank you. She goes, it's okay. It's my job to do that. And I'm like, and I know. And I come to you because there's 4 coffee shops on the other side of the road. They don't have large. They don't have the cups you have, and they don't have you making it. So that's the reason why I come. They're the little things we need to do to show appreciation to our loved ones, to our friends, and even if it's someone in retail, because they're copping a lot of crap because people can't go into their shops or they can't go into the shops with a mask, and they're getting a lot of people that are giving them, a hell about it. Shouldn't happen. So let's not give them a hard time because, they're not going to work going, let's try and piss people off. They're just saying, hey, I'm just doing my job like you are. I'm going through the same thing you are. So let's get that sorted. So, Paulie, thank you very much. So true. Exactly. Ken, what do we got? Working at home for years. Only way I survived is having an external office next to the house. I get dressed for work and go to the work. Exactly, Ken. That's exactly what I was talking about. And I've seen your setup, and yeah, beautiful. You get dressed like a normal person. You walk out the back door. You walk over to the garage, which is a separate door, and walk in. If you can do that, it's fantastic. There's a lot of people can't because they're restricted by the size of the house and where they are and everything. But if you can do something like that, some people were using virtual offices. A lot of people like myself who work alone and work, my team are people that I've got virtual assistants and stuff like that. I got someone in Sydney that does some stuff, someone in the US who does stuff for me and stuff like that. But when you work for yourself, it's just you. So there's a lot of people that are doing virtual offices. They go to a place that's got an office that's got like all these desks and people just sit down and do work. I used to do it years ago because I loved it. Just having the atmosphere around. I wasn't as distracted. So if you're able to do that where you are, go and do that sometimes and get out of the house, or even go to, as a client was telling me yesterday, go to a nice hotel nearby and just sit in their lobby office and order some coffee and biscuits or something and just sit there and do your work there. Fantastic idea. But appreciate them too. Appreciate those people that actually say that as well. Do that help you with that work as well. Paul, can and put shoes on. That's what I learned during COVID. Yes. Maybe have a shower if you're not, even if you're not leaving the house is a good thing as well. So anyway, as Kenny's led, because Ken's he deals with a lot of businesses and stuff like that. So we're going to get into the first story that's come up. A few people have sent these to me, throwing them across my desk, as Mr. Ken Robinson would say. And it happens to be a story about the end of the affair. Our office romance is really over. Now, a lot of people will scold and say, why would you need an office romance sort of thing? But here we are there. Get that on there. And when you spend 8 hours a day, 5 days, 6 days a week, so some people spend anywhere from 40 to 65 hours a week at work. So meeting people out of work is not the easiest thing to do. Now, yes, it's not always a good thing, and this is the reason why these stories are popping up more and more as we go along. But at the same time, you spend more time with the people you work with than the people you live with. I mean, except for now, for those of you who are working from home because they can't work, you're now working from home. Maybe you could have an affair with the missus. Oh, well, that's what I'm married to. I can't do that. Well, you could. It might spice up your life. But yeah, so as this is from theguardian.com, and they're saying that the world's biggest asset manager firm is insisting that all workplace relationships must be assessed by HR, and with so many of us at home, workplace flings could be history. So yeah, the name Office Romances, age as old as offices, so about 300 years, appearance dead as a doornail. So what they're being saying is that a lot more businesses right now are starting to jump in, and they're starting to say, you know what, it's not working. And the main reason for that too is because, and this is a company called BlackRock that are doing this. And as you can see, there's a couple of things here. I love good romance, sneaking around the future furtive glances, the mounds and mounds of impossible HR regulations. There's not so much as a clandestine office romance anymore. It simply can't be done. And that's because it's nice to have it, but at the same time, when things are not going well, do you want to bring that stuff into a full, well, here we go again. What are we relating to? If you're dating someone at work and stuff goes down, you're taking that stuff to work. And then all the tension in the work and everyone else is going, what's going on between these two over here? I knew something's been going on with them for a while. Look at them. They're both going off at each other like quietly, She'll walk past and nudge him and he'll be saying something to her and he'd get up and walk into the lunchroom and well, now that's happening at home, in our homes. Exactly. So, yeah. Except some of them work together. Some of them work for different companies. A couple of people got on here tonight who do work with their partners. Some of them work in the same company but in different departments. Others work in different businesses altogether, but they're in the same house doing it. So if they're getting, fired up about something on the phone, the other person's like, and they're like, can you just go down the other end of the house? Just go down there or just go out in the backyard and have the conversation you're having, because I'm in a webinar right now and I'm trying to, organize this and I can't with you yelling in the background. All right. So that's some of the bigger things that's happening right now. So I think it's just getting very messy. Oh, and then they also mentioned, look at this down here, the office Christmas party. I know, probably better to keep it in your pants at the office Christmas party, because, hey, isn't the office Christmas party all about telling that person you've liked all year that you wanted to date them, or you thought that was pretty nice because you've got the Dutch courage? Still not a good idea. It doesn't always end well. But even a lot of businesses have been getting rid of the Christmas party. They'll have a couple of drinks at the end of the year to say thank you to everyone, or like soft drinks and some nibblies or something, and not even having a proper Christmas party. Actually, if Claudia, if you're on, what's it like over in Germany and so forth with people, because you deal with businesses, and Kenny, you deal with businesses as well. You have many businesses of that still do the office Christmas party, and also getting rid of all that, and also the in-house office relationships. If you do, drop us a line in the comments. Let us know what's happening. Let's just go through a little bit and just have a look at a couple of the comments that are coming through, sort of things. So where are we? Claudia, work with a planner that contains a morning mindset section. One of the questions, who could I send a note of appreciation to today? Oh, wow. Great idea. Makes me think every day and most days to do it. Makes me feel good and the other person. Exactly. If you want to do something like this, as Claudia said, she's got it in a planner. Put it in your phone. If you start at 9 o'clock, get to 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon and put a memo in there saying who's helped make your day a little bit better. Has it been someone that's been nice to you? Has it been someone who has done something for you didn't expect? They've brought something over to you, or brought some cake to you, or unjammed the photocopy and was able to fix it for you and stuff like that, so you didn't get that proposal to them too late, stuff like that. Don't be afraid to say thank you to them, because it's a good thing to do. So yes, April, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Business 101, never get your honey where you make your money. You'll end up broke. Yes, April, very good. She's a woman with words, April. She's very good with that sort of stuff. So a good friend of ours, Patty, if you ever see Patty Elise jump in, she's got away with that too. I think she's got, where they get all those words and they use the first letters of the word to make. She's very good at that sort of stuff. So I can't think right now because it's quite warm on these lights and it's been a warm day here. But yeah, I'm trying to think of the word that it means, but you guys know what I mean. So yeah, exactly. So Kenny J moved out of the office 9 years ago, saved $20,000 plus a year. Now I work at home while 4 teenagers at school. Allows my wife and I to have special meetings. Oh, special meetings each week. Really? Should have done it years ago. Saves money, revitalized marriage. There you go, girls. There you go. If you're working from home and it's not going so well, maybe you need to have special meetings. Just saying. Mr. Kenny Robinson from Sydney, he's been, doing that sort of stuff for quite a while. Well, I don't know that sort of stuff, but he's been in the business game for quite a few years. And, by all means, special meetings. You're giving me a different picture of you and Wendy right now, Ken. You really are. It's I shouldn't be having that image in my head. Let's put it that way. You guys are supposed to be, don't worry. We need routine, working at home, getting dressed for work in your morning routine makes all the difference. Exactly. Claudia, a lot of people are back in the offices here. There is no rule anymore for who's working where. Distance is still a thing, so I'm pretty sure that there won't be any in-person get-togethers. Yeah, that's the other thing. The businesses that I know that have gone back. I do some I've got a government contract I do on the side business, and we had to go into the office a couple of weeks ago, and it was like one person here, one person over there. It was, even though a lot of them had big petitions and that, no, it was only like, I think they said 30% of their staff were in. So, and they were all still wearing masks, sitting at the desk. They're talking on the phone that they had a mask and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, man. I mean, for those who are dating, all right, I'll use me as an example. I went on a date a couple of months ago, rocked up. You don't know, because when I get out of the, get out of the car and say good day to someone or something like that, I'll rock up and, I'll go, hi, I might shake the hand, or I'll give them a slight hug and a kiss on the cheek. And you walk up and you're like, hey, what do you do? It's so weird. Sometimes we had to jump in the car and go visit some people last week. And you get in the car, and the guy that was in the car with me, he's gone, and I've gone, hey, because it's ridiculous. It really is. I know why, but at the same time, I just sort of think, man, seriously, this whole thing is just, it's just trippy. It really is. It's just, crazy. We're going to look at, while we're talking about crazy, we're going to talk about a couple of crazy things that are going on right now. Where are we? I had, where are we? No, what's that one? Okay, this is a story coming out of Melbourne. Now, for those single people that are on right now, check this story out if I can jump it in there. There we go. It's from bodyandsoul.com. A woman conned Tinder dates into paying $800,000 to save her blueberry farm. Let's just suss this out for a sec. A 41-year-old woman conned 2 Tinder dates into paying her hundreds of thousands of dollars, convincing them that she needed the money to help save her blueberry farm. If you're single and you're looking for love, it's really, it's not easy as it is, because you really, the amount of relationship scams that go on every year, it's like it's $1 billion business each year in Australia alone. And then you look at the US and the Europe and the UK, the amounts of people that get scammed. But this wasn't online. You read along here. But as much as they have proven successful with online dating for some happy couples, the problem with dating apps is that there is an element of risk involved. Just take Jocelyn Zakau, who conned almost $800,000 from men she met on Tinder to spend it on gambling. Talk about a Tinder date gone wrong, right? Zahau, I thought it said Zakau. Zahau, who lived at Crown Casino. Now, Crown Casino is one of the biggest casinos in Australia, and to be living at Crown Casino, That's not cheap. That's not cheap. So she had a little bit of money anyway. But the one we wonder where she's getting the money from, am I right? So she would hang out with high rollers and con two men who thought they were her girlfriend out of money that she claimed was to fund her blueberry farm. She told one of the men she needed money for her farm and promised him a 300% return on his investment. Wanting more money, the 41-year-old then told him the farm was also linked to illegal cigarettes and the workers would hurt the man's family if they were not paid. Zahur then proceeded to send the man 240 emails, including threats against his ex-wife and mother. The man lost a total of $723,700 and now has been forced to borrow money from family and friends to regain his life. The second man, Sahal, targeted was a financial planner she matched again on Tinder. He gave $61,000 to supposedly pay for the blueberry farm's equipment and to cover the workers' wages. The conman even told him she had been seduced. Showing no remorse for her actions, Zahur told the police she didn't feel sorry for her victims because she thought it was their fault because they were too stupid. Right? County Court of Victoria Judge Gregory Lyon reported Zahur has just been jailed for 4 years and 6 months with 2 years and 8 months non-parole for her false promises. It's a ruthless exploitation, and you have broken the ability of both men to be able to trust those around them. Zahur pleaded guilty to 6 charges of obtaining financial advantage by deception, 3 of blackmail, and 2 of extortion with the threat to inflict injury. She has so far repaid about a tenth of the men's cash. Don't think they're going to be more than that because she's been living at Crown Casino. She's been enjoying life quite well, sort of thing. So this is where we get onto, online dates. It's scary. It really is. But you can get done by just meeting people in a bar. Because you can meet them and they could say, whoever they are and what they do and everything else. But who knows? Just because they say it doesn't mean it's true. But at least you can see them. I always recommend, I heard a story from a client of mine recently about someone, actually no, it wasn't a client, it was an acquaintance of mine, a good friend of mine over in the US, and we were offered a business proposition. But actually I'm going to leave that one out. But anyway, there's a lot of scammers around that we've got to be careful of and we worry about because people are always trying to get money out of people, and if you can't interact with them, you start to worry about what can go wrong and what can go right, sort of things. So yeah, it's quite a scary thing. So we just got to watch ourselves, sort of thing, and go from there. What do we got here? What's Kenny saying here? Routine, Claudia saying a lot of people, there's a real for who's working. Oh, yeah, we covered that before. Joanne, that's true. Claudia, people won't congregate around the water cooler or coffee machine like they used to. No, certainly won't, because it just, can you even use a coffee machine or water cooler? Because if you touch it, someone else is going to touch it, and you never know what you're going to catch. So, have they got rid of water coolers in the workplaces? Probably the thing we need to ask the most. When I had 11 full-time staff, Kenny, each year we would spend a fortune on Christmas lunch. It was always followed by requests for pay rises. Thank God for Christmas party is no longer necessary. Okay. Yeah, no, it's a bit much. You put on this lovey. It's like, I suppose it's like, well, do you want the Christmas party or do you want a pay rise? I can't afford a big pay rise, but I can afford this per hour or this per week. And we just do something small for Christmas because, through the 80s and 90s and, started to fade out early 2000s, people were having big dinners and big lunches and they'd bring their staff and the staff's family and kids. And it used to blow out like crazy. It's really hard to deal with sometimes. Oh my God, a blueberry farm. Exactly. Blueberry farm. I mean, you're in Melbourne, aren't you, Joe? Are there blueberry farms in Melbourne? Did not know at all. So can you hang around a casino and you are asking for trouble? Yes, quite true, quite true. Hitesh, how are you? Yes, there are many scams, but you just got to keep vetting people until you are satisfied. It's easy said than done, buddy. It's easy said than done because a lot of these, I don't, I maybe this was the case with this woman, but there are a lot of people who prey on the most vulnerable. You know what they do. Look, I will tell you now. I've probably had 8 or 9 instances, 8 or 9 instances over the last 5 in the last year, and I've probably had another 6 or 7 before I had my last relationship with Ange. For about 2 or 3 years there, I would have had probably 8 or 9 then. That people would jump on. What they do is they see comments you might put on pages and stuff, and they go, "Oh, this person looks right," and they check out if you're single, or if they can't see your relationship status, they will do a bit of research and see if you're with the same person all the time or whatever else. And when they don't, and they do it to guys, they do it to girls, they do it to old, they do it to young, they do it. And two of them I had on WhatsApp. 2 people reached out to me, and both of them, it's funny, one did it and then another one jumped on and said the same thing. We're trying to be the same person, and the same person was a Hollywood movie star that has been in some of the biggest movies on the planet in the last couple of years. I'm talking like Marvel and a couple of others. And they would reach out and they'd just say, "Oh, hey, thanks for being a fan," and everything else. And you're like, and they'd have their name, but they'd have a couple of like symbols next to it, sort of thing. And they'd say, "Oh, look, I don't do this very often. This is my private account. I just do it because sometimes I like to reach out to decent fans that are, they're good people, and I can see they're not, going to take advantage of me and everything." And they talk to you, and you're like, "Yeah, what does it matter? Doesn't matter." You talk to them occasionally, you reply, and you're just sitting there waiting. And then someone else did, and went, "It's funny that you say you're that person, because there's someone else I've also spoken to who says to that person, 'Oh, no, they're not real.'" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know." And you try to get them to call you, or they send you a photo, and then what you do is take the photo and you put it on Google search, and you find it's just a photo they've got off the website, so you know it's not them. Because if they were whoever they say they were, they're not going to, take a photo off that. They're going to have something private or something like that sort of thing. So, but I didn't fall for it, because I knew I just like tagging them along and see what I can get out of them, as in information, because it's good to pass on when stuff goes down, that you can actually, when people say, "Oh, you've had issues with it," I'm like, "Yeah, I can see all the messages they've sent and everything else." They have a bank account they give you. They say, "Oh, this is my bank account." Why would I give you my bank account if if I'm not who I say I would? And I'm like, "Well, why would you?" Well, because I go, "Well, you can't look up their bank account with a bank because for privacy reasons you can't," and stuff like that. And you're like, "Yes." But there are so many. I don't fall for it, because I just laugh when it happens. And I know there's a couple of people on here who know that I've done that, and have laughed with me and go, "Oh, how's movie star girl?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, she's so wonderful." You just laugh. But yeah, they just, it's a full-time business for a lot of people. So yes, you can, Hitesh, vet a lot of people, but even then, there are some you think, "Oh no, they seem legit," and they're not. And you just got to be careful of that. So, okay, let's get on to one of these other stories. Actually, while I've got you on, the people that have just jumped on, we got a question of the week. If you guys want to answer it, you're welcome to answer it. If you don't want to answer it, have a think about it, because it's good to have a think about it. And this is the question. And if you do answer it, put a hashtag Q&A in it. What things does your partner appreciate about you, and what things do you appreciate about them? And when was the last time you actually told each other? Seriously, when was the last time? Don't say it was like last week when it hasn't been for a year or two. Say it. But this is also for people who are not with partners. When was the last time, you told someone how much you appreciate them in your life? It could be a friend, family member, a guy or a girl at a coffee shop that has always looked after you, or giving you the coffee because you didn't have enough money on the day and you went back and paid for it the next day. Little things like that. You got to appreciate the people in your life. You got to appreciate the people that are around doing the best things that they can to make your life better. Yes, it's their job, but as we all know, there are a lot of people in jobs that don't do their job properly. You know what I mean? Okay. So what do we got? Okay. Now this story is coming out from England, which I thought was quite an interesting story. Now, for those of you that may be single and going on dates and stuff like that, you might relate to this. And for those that are in relationships, you might be thinking, man, maybe I need to stay in a relationship, not be single, because it's not easy. This one, as you can see, is coming from The Independent, and the average adult takes 9 minutes to draft a single text message when dating someone new, researchers told. Half of those polled worry they will run out of things to say on a date. So this is they did this study last year, and I think they wrapped up end of last year. And because I've read into it and followed up and stuff like that, but I thought it'd go straight to the story. And this was published on the 22nd of September. Two-thirds of Britons, 68%, have admitted to being overthinkers and worrying about what clothes to wear and why someone hasn't replied to a text. Message. I texted him 5 seconds ago. Why haven't I had a reply yet? Why? It's been 2 hours. I am sitting here waiting for my text message. Is he seeing someone? Is she sleeping with someone? Why have they not replied to me? Probably because they're at work. Maybe they're with family. Maybe they've got their head in the bowl and they're sick because they're not feeling well. Just for people that may be watching this on the replay, yeah, there are, and I'm not saying anyone here does it. It's just there's a lot of people that sort of go, oh, I wonder why. I haven't heard from them in a while. The study of 2,000 adults found nearly 4 in 10 get wrapped up in trying to get out of unwanted plans, which topped the poll of things we overthink the most. So they get invited to things, but they really don't want to go. You know what you can do? You can just say, not today. Or, no, I'm planning on having a me day. Well, can't you do that on Sunday? No. Sunday, I've got family. It's Thursday. I've had a crap week. Friday night, I'm going home. I'm going to order a pizza and a couple of drinks. And Saturday, I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to stay at home. I might run a bath. And I'm just going to have a me day. I'm going to sit on the couch and watch Netflix or just message people. I don't really want to go anywhere. Don't be afraid to say that, people. It's setting a boundary. It's just saying that, I love you. Can we maybe do it next weekend? Or could we do it next Tuesday night? Or could we do it next Thursday? Saturday doesn't work for me. And if you're afraid of saying that, my question would be, what would you say if you had to work and you couldn't do that? Or your parents were sick and you had to go to them? You're still busy. You still can't go. So it doesn't matter what reason why you can't go. You just can't go. And the can't go is, I'm having a me day. Don't be afraid to have a me day. We all need me days. Me days mean where I'm just going to do things for me. Not for you, not for my parents, not for my brothers and sisters, not for girlfriends' parents, wife's parents, neighbors. No. It does sound a bit selfish, but you need to recharge. Because there are times, and I think Claudia would probably back me up on this, there are a lot of people who push themselves hard and harder and harder and harder and harder at work, to the point that they go, no, I can keep going. And then all of a sudden, bang, they're knocked on their ass and they do not get up and they're off work for like a week or 2 weeks because they get a form of gastro or they get run down and they burn themselves out and stuff. And then all the production's gone. All that extra work they've done for the last couple of months is out the window and they're back to square one because they've just lost 2 weeks or a week because they've just been so sick they have not been able to get out of bed. You've got to think about yourselves, guys and girls. Seriously, you really do. Where are we? Almost a third people panic when the office banter may have been construed in the wrong way. Yeah, that can happen, but not much office banter is going on there, so that's an easy one to not worry about. Britons also overthink their financial choices, 32%. How to ask someone to repay money that they borrowed, 31%. And how much to spend on a gift, 26%. Now, this survey was commissioned by Mike Hard-Seltzer to launch its new dating advice hotline. The study also found that nearly 6 in 10, 60% of people think that they spend too long dwelling on their love lives. Okay, interesting. Maybe overthinking their love lives a little bit too much, maybe. Two-thirds of the singletons also overthink their content on their dating profile, with 3 in 10 even lying or misrepresenting themselves to seem more attractive both on their profile and in real life. Now, they said 3 out of 10. My experience, and I don't mean just me in dating, but from people that clients that I've worked with who have told me this, it's probably as high as 5, maybe 6 out of 10, or we might be looking at like 11 or 12 out of 20. And when I say lie, it might be their age, their height, and this is sometimes, it's not, I don't want to be sexist, but it does seem to be guys, seriously, saying that you're 5'8" when you're 5'3", she's going to find out. When you rock up, she's not an idiot. And she's not going to go, I'll still date him. Because not always will do it. Now, look, some people like that, but there are some people not. And I understand why you do it. But at the end of the day, you're starting the relationship out on a lie. You've lied. It's the start of the relationship. And if you are doing it on dating apps and it's not working, get off dating apps. Get outside. Well, when the C word is over. But meet people other way. Work. Exercise. Go to a gym. Go to the movies. Use an app called Meetup, which it's not a dating app. It's actually an app where you can go and meet people. So a friend of mine up in Brisbane told me recently she went to 2 meetups in 2 days, and one was a Friday night drinks with girls, and she worked nearby, so she went to that and met these lovely ladies, and then some of them were going to the one on the Sunday. It was just a Sunday lunch. You can have a meet up to a new movie might be coming out, and you want to go see it. You want people to turn up, so you just make a meet up and say, hey, look, anyone interested in seeing this new, action movie or drama or comedy and that? I'm going at this place at this time at 3 o'clock. If you want to come along, and people can join it. It can be drinks, it can be dating stuff, but it's mainly just a meet up, as in just random people meeting up and just doing something together. It might be a picnic in a park, it might be a bike ride, it might be a boat cruise. My partner and I used to go to on a boat cruise up on the Gold Coast, and we used to go over to South Stratford, and we were the youngest ones. Everyone else was over 60, but you can do that. So if you have to lie, think of another way. Don't lie about it, because it doesn't work, okay? The study found more than over half polled worry they would run out of things to say on a date. Do you think I'd have that issue? I don't think so. And 46% admitted they practice what they'll say before they call a crush. Well, that's sweet. That's nothing wrong with it. Other things Britons overthink when it comes to matters of the heart include the kind of impression they are giving, 25%, or what they should wear on a date, 22%. And then it gets down to the core of the message of the story. They'll even internally debate whether or not to go out for number 2 at their date's house. Oh, okay. So they're at date's house and they're wanting to do a number 2 at there. Okay, 38%. A bigger concern for women, 51%, then men, 29%. It has also emerged that the average adult takes almost 9 minutes to draft a text message to their new crush, and a third will deliberately wait before drafting a reply so they don't look too keen. I know a lot of people that actually will say, well, I've been on a date, but don't reply straight. Don't message him when you get home. I'm like, what do you mean? Don't send him a message saying that was a great date. Wait. What do you mean wait? Well, wait till that evening or wait till the next morning. You've got to give it apparently a minimum of 3 hours after the date. The unwritten rules of dating, people. So if you're in a relationship, Should I stay or should I go? Maybe. Might just help your decision making anyway. Let's jump to the comments and see what everyone's saying. I can see a few coming up here. Hitesh, I say to my mum, I appreciate her every day. Man, that's good. Because your mum is so lovely. We've seen her on a couple of our videos that we've chatted on and that, and she comes in and says hello. And you're doing a great job with her. You really are. You're doing a fantastic job looking after her. And I take my hat off to you, man, because it's not an easy thing to look after elderly parents. But they raised us, so you're trying to give back, which is fantastic. Claudia, it's a huge misconception that our partners are here to fulfill all our requirements. Oh, Claudia, you get it. Some of you may have seen, may have not. If you haven't, actually, I don't know if I shared it publicly. I did share it with a few people. I talked about a couple of months ago. I don't think I did, actually, and I'll have to do it again and share it to everyone. I think I did it on Instagram. You may have seen a post I did probably 2 months ago about the movie Jerry Maguire. Now, not a huge Tom Cruise fan. Do like Renee Zellweger, but I love that movie. Back in the day, it was a great movie. It related to a lot of things at the time, and it was really good. The thing with it is that I will bring up is there's one line there that really, really gets my goat. And I think Claudia will know this line if she knows the movie I'm talking about. And I think a few of you out there would know that as well, which is the line where he walks in and he says, I want to see my wife. Where is my wife? She says, you had me at hello. And he looks at her and he says, what are those 3 words? Come on, people. Right? You complete me. Very romantic for a movie. Nice touch. Sad thing about it is, it's saying that you are not whole without having someone. You have to have someone to complete you. If they did that movie today, I would do whatever I can to get in there and go, you need to change it to you compliment me. Because you've got to be happy with you first. You need to be able to look at yourself and go, you know what? You've been through some crap, but you know what? You're here. You've made it. You've made it to here. You've survived to here. You don't need someone to complete you. You don't need someone to compliment you. You want someone to compliment you. To compliment something is to just add to it to make it even more wonderful than it is. But if you're asking for someone to complete you, the relationship is probably not going to work. Because you're asking them to do something, to put all that pressure on them, to rely on, for them to, you to rely on them to always be there for you and always to make you happy. You got to learn to make yourself happy. If they make you happy, it's an added bonus, but it's not like, well, I'm not happy unless they're happy. I need them to be happy because they're happy. That makes me happy. Otherwise, I'm not happy. And if I'm not happy and they're not happy, it gets really, really. Oh, come on. Please, come on. Really? I want someone to compliment me. I don't want someone to complete me. And if you need someone, you need to do some work. You can work with me. You can work with some of the lovely people that are here right now. You can, go speak to a psychologist, your doctor, and everything else, and they can talk about all sorts of things. But the longer you try and avoid dealing with that, all the energy you put into not dealing with it, all the wasted time, You deal with it. Once it's done, it's dealt with, and then you can start to move forward, and you can meet someone, and they can complement you. Now I'm getting my words, can complement your life and make things so much better. But you need your life to be good in the first place. And if you're over 35, 40, all right, let's say if you're over 40, which is probably most people here, you're doing a pretty damn good job. You know why? Because there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that are taken from us way too young. There are a lot of people that take themselves away from us way too young because they haven't been able to deal with certain things. They felt like no one cared about them. They thought that they were a burden and people would be better off without them. But you're still here. So if you're having any issues with thinking, I'm not good enough, I need someone in my life, I have to have someone in your life, pardon my language, and I should have a warning list because I will drop the odd F-bomb occasionally, and I'm about to do it, so mute me if you don't like me using the word, but you're fucking awesome. And you know why? Because you are still here. Now, you might be struggling with relationships, and that's the reason why you're tuning in, watching us tonight, and watching me every Sunday night at this same time, or on Wednesday night at this same time. But you're doing it to learn. You're doing it to pick up some sort of tip or help or something like that that you want to grow from. And you've got to realize that all the people that we don't have in our lives anymore for whatever reason, and you've made it. You've been kicked in the teeth and got back up again. You've probably been dumped on, you've probably lied to, you've been cheated to, you've probably lost a job, you've probably lost family members, you've probably had your heart broken half a dozen times, you probably fell for someone and it didn't work out, whatever else. But you're still here. And like I said, for the majority of people that are here right now and the people who are watching, usually 30 plus, it really doesn't matter what age you're at. Even if you're in your 20s, there's a lot of people that, had crap childhoods. Probably slept on the street, slept under bridges, were beaten, molested, all sorts of nasty stuff that people go through. And they've come to this, whatever age you are right now. And if you've been through a life like that, I commend you. I say, you're friggin' amazing. You are. Because there's a lot of people who don't get through that whatsoever. They're not able to deal with it. The demons inside eat away at them. They bring on, sicknesses and so forth that attack their immune system and take their lives away from them. It's not a good way. But you're here. You're here now watching this. So if you get off this watching this and you not get off watching this, but when you finish when you finish watching this and you go to the bathroom and you look in the mirror, and I said this to a very good friend of mine, if he watches it, MK, you know who I'm talking about, you've got to look at yourself and you go, you know what? I've been through all that crap and I'm still here. I've been through so many relationships, but I need to have the relationship with me because I can't have a relationship with anyone else until I have a good relationship with me. Because you're expecting someone to love you, respect you, do things for you, enjoy you, laugh with you, cry with you, hug you, whatever that is. But if you're not willing to do those things for yourself, how do you expect somebody else to do that for you. If you're beating yourself up saying, I'm not good enough, or I'm not a good mum, or I'm not a good dad, or I'm not a good partner, or I'm not a good brother or sister or son or daughter or work person or whatever else, fucking stop it. I can't be more direct than that, because it's not helping you. If you think that, then that is it. You've got to say, I don't deserve to be treated like crap. I am better. You know why I'm better? Because I'm still here. So I must be doing something right. I've made it to this age, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever age you're at. You've made it this far, because there are thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions who don't make it. Considering what 2020 has been about, we have lost a lot of people, and there's been a lot of people we haven't been able to say goodbye to. So if you want to take a lesson out of 2020, it is appreciate the people you have in your life. Appreciate the great things. As Claudia said, sometimes you got to put a post-it note on someone's desk to say thank you for making my life better, or doing something for me at work, or whatever. You need to send random text messages to a different person every single day that's in your phone, and just say, you know what, thank you. Thank you for being my friend for the last 10 years, 5 years, 5 months. Look them in the eye. Don't just send a text even. Give them a call. Give them a face call. And they go, hey, yeah, what are you up to? It's like, I just want to stop, and I just want to take this time to say thank you. And I'll go, okay, what have I done? You were you. You were you when I needed you to be you the most. It might have been I was going through a tough time in my life and you were there. It might have been, it was a short relationship, but we learned so much from it. You were there. It might have been something they said one day that just hit you like a bag of bricks, but it was a good thing. And you were there. It might be, cheering someone up by sending them, a gift or some flowers or a teddy bear or something like that to say thank you. And they're like, why did you do that? Because I could see that, you were having a bit of a tough week. If we want to take something out of 2020, one of the crappiest years in the world is now more than ever, it should be more about quality over quantity. Now, something I do with a lot of my clients and people that follow me on the JMC page is I will say to them, between Christmas and New Year, because that's the downtime for most people, not all people, but downtime for most people, being Christmas, New Year, go through. If you haven't spoken to someone on a social media page for 18 to 24 months, unfriend them. Or reach out to them and say hello. Wish them a Merry Christmas, or check in how they are. But if you haven't spoken to them, we haven't liked anything in the page, delete it, unfollow them, unfriend them. I'm not being harsh, but what I'm doing is, what's the point of having 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 friends you never talk to? When there's other people that might only have 100 to 200 friends, and they probably will talk to the 90% of them once a year at least. But that once a year might be one of the most crucial things they can talk about. They might have reached out to someone when they were thinking of taking their life. They might have reached out to someone when they needed someone to reach out and go, wow, I haven't spoken to that person in ages, and they just called me out of the blue, and bam. You can save a life. But to do that, you need to live a life. Live a life of who you are. In whatever faith or guidance you have, universe, Jesus, Buddha, whatever it is, or whatever your beliefs and boundaries and what you set out your foundations. Sometimes we need to touch on those foundations and say, you know what? We need to do a little bit more quality over quantity. I'll let you think about that for a moment. We will just address some of the comments before we wrap things up. Sorry about getting deep in there, but well, I'm not sorry. I think we sometimes need to do that sometimes, and this is what this is all about. Simplifying things, getting really clear on what we need and want in our lives. That's what it's all about. So, where are we? Did we do Claudia, misconception partner? Yes, Claudia. Kenny, people don't know how to set boundaries. My marriage of 23 years improves dramatically when we finally sat down and developed boundaries for our own relationship. When I read the Love Languages book and worked out what made my wife tick, I changed my approach and reaped the rewards. That's what it's about, Kenny. Wendy's a lucky woman to have you as a husband. You went to that effort to read the book. Love Languages. People think, it's a bit airy-fairy. No, it's not. All it is just understanding what it is that your guy or girl appreciates and makes them feel good. You know, do they want communication, or do they want touch? Do they want to be hugged? Do they need to be, the odd message telling them how you feel about them? There's so many different ways of doing it. Yes, there's a certain set of love languages, but at the same time, there is, if you can learn that, if you can understand the other person, you don't have to do it all the time. Once you understand it, then you know it for good, and then you can always you've got it there, and you get each other. But it also needs a two-way way of doing it, as I think with Ken and Wendy. I know Wendy probably would have done the same thing, so you both understood. And I commend you for that, doing that. That's fantastic stuff, guys. It really is, because a lot more people need to do it. Hitesh, 100% agree with Ken about the love languages. Exactly. And love languages, people think, it's between partners. Love language for your parents. Hitesh, you'd understand it. I remember you having a discussion with us a couple of weeks ago about how you set little things up for your mum using the smart speaker. So she'll be in the kitchen and she gets little messages and stuff to remind her. It's smart thinking. It's smart to help you with time. But it's those little things that she's going to love. She does it. She may know that you set them up. Maybe she'll forget and go, the speaker always reminds me to take my tablets, or to go and sit down and rest, or go out and listen. They're the things. I have my speaker go off at a certain time every night to remind me, right, if you're going to get up at 5:45 in the morning, you need to go to bed right now. So people go, why does that keep going off at night? It's like, it's for me. It's this thing. It goes off 2 or 3 times a day. I have little reminders. Because sometimes you need reminding to just do some certain things. Don't you agree, Hitesh? Hitesh knows what I mean by that. Isn't it about time? Sorry. Claudia, all these stupid rules of dating, if I can't be me in dates and while texting, etc., why bother? I still find myself falling into the trap. All this effing conditioning. Oh, Claudia, you've been through stuff and you've got here, and you, as I said to you a couple of weeks ago, you're probably like a good bottle of wine. You've got better with age. So, and you know as well as I do, and a lot of us know, that you get to a point in life where you just go, I can't be frigging stuffed anymore. I'm not going to play these games. You don't. A lot of those rules I was saying before too were about people that were a bit younger, and they were all into that sort of thing. And I'm like, you know what, if I walk out of there and I send her a message going, thanks very much, that was a great date, by all means, wonderful. There are people I've dated for a short time and I've said, I love you. And then I will say, I'm not in love with you. But what I am telling you is, I love you for who you are. I love the person you are. Doesn't mean I'm in love with them or whatever else, but I've said that, and then it's become in love, and we've gone on from there. But at the same time, when you find someone and you go, I love that. I love that you just see the world that way. You know, people go, oh, people use the word, I love you, man. I love you, man. Yeah, okay, I've drunk. A few of you know that I've rang you when I've been after a few drinks. I love you, man. I really love you, man. No. I love you, man. Yeah, I know you love me. But you know what I mean. But at the same time, you really need to. Don't be afraid to use those words. Don't be afraid to say, I freaking love that, or that blows my mind, or I just can't believe that you do that so well. I've met some amazing. It's funny, 2020 has been a mess, but I have met, and some of you are on here right now, I have met some of the most incredible people I've ever met in my whole entire life in this year, because we've had to work out ways of doing things, and there's been a lot of challenges that I've been a part of this year. The sit-up challenge, the push-up challenge, where we raised a lot of money in that for the prevention of domestic violence. I've been part of video challenges and stuff, and I have met people, there's a couple of others I've met through other groups over the last, 12 to last couple of years and stuff like that. But this year has been a year where it's been a phenomenal year for quality of people. These people, and they're like, some of you here right now, they're not just Australia. A lot of them are, UK, Germany, Denmark, Scotland, California, Orlando, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Kansas. Some just incredible people. So, it's been a crap year, but it's also been one of the most remarkable when it's come to quality of people, and having quality of people in your life is fantastic. I know we've been going for an hour and 22 people. I'm going to try and wrap it up at an hour 30, so we'll get that, wrap it up soon. So I don't want to keep you guys too long, because I know some of you have to go to, it's a Sunday night, it's a Sunday morning. Yeah, some of you might have to go out for lunch and stuff like that. Some of you might be waking up, and some of you might have to go to bed. But, it just... remarkable people that I would just, no, we're not allowed to, but I'd just go up and friggin' hug them, give them the biggest hug, because the feedback they've given me over certain things, the love that they've shared with us and I've shared with them and stuff, has just been nothing I've ever experienced. And they're not even in the same, well, there is actually one of, I don't know if he's still on here, but there's one that we were in a challenge in America and found out we lived like 6 minutes from each other's house, sort of thing. So, and there's also people I've had in my life that have been here for me, especially the last couple of months, have been here, just remarkable. So to each and every one of you that watch this and are on right now, thank you. I know it's a guy giving love to a guy and girls, and some of you are married and some of you are not, and whatever else, but thank you. Because I'm not me without you guys. I can't do this. I can't, I've gone through big changes in the last 18 to 24 months. And especially I've had some of the biggest changes in my life in the last 3 to 6 months. In the crappiest time. And I had some dark days. But at the end of the day, I'm here. And it's because of each and every one of you that are on here right now. For you guys to come on and give the messages that you give, for the support and interaction. I love that. You get that very often. You don't even get that from your own family and friends sometimes, but I'm getting it from complete strangers from right around this beautiful globe. So to each and every one of you, I love you all. I thank you all, because you're all just fantastic people. So let's just get through the last couple of comments. All these stupid, that's right, Claudia, we've covered that one. Yes, Claudia, society has conditioned many people to behave in a certain way. When dating, it's simple. Just be yourself. Exactly. Amisha, people come in our lives for a reason or a season or a lifetime. Yes, we've had that discussion, and it's an email that went around for me many years ago, and it had a massive impact on me. Listening to your live videos, Jayson, has helped realize the difference. Love you, girl. Thank you. And that is very true. If no one's ever seen it or heard this term, please DM me and I will try and track down a copy. It was an email that went out, I reckon, 10 years ago, maybe more, and it was called Reason, Season, Life. Now, I'm just going to quickly touch on it, but virtually what it meant, it said this: there are people who come into our life for a reason. Now, these people might be just someone that comes into our lives for like 30 seconds. They might push us out of the way because something fell from a building above us or we nearly got hit by a bus. It might be someone that just happened to be standing behind us and gave us some money because we were short to pay our groceries. There might be a reason. They might have, a dog might have got out or an animal got out and they were able to stop it from getting hit by a car. Just little things. Those people, they come into our lives for a reason. Season. Someone who comes into our lives for just a season. That season could be a month, it could be a couple of months, it could be a couple of years and then go again. It's usually months to a year or so. And they're in our lives for that period of time and we're like, wow, massive impact. I look back on it now, there was a couple of people I sort of think of and think, wow, I can't believe they're only in my life for a short period of time, but what I learned from them was just phenomenal. It just, I'm blown away, what I know about them and how what I got from that relationship. And it wasn't like a loving relationship, that was just a friendship, still a relationship. So, and then you've got for life. And these are the people that you've grown up with or you've known for a period or you worked with them for a period of time and then you might not talk to them for ages. And then when you talk to them again, it's like just yesterday. It's like you were talking to them 2 days ago or 3 days ago. And you, like nothing, no time has passed whatsoever. They're there for life. They're the people that, have been through thick and thin with you and just know who you are. And if there were anything to happen, they'll be the first people to turn up. I had a couple of friends like that, I've met in really weird circumstances and we're still mates years later. There's a couple from school days and stuff like that I always moved around a lot. I moved 11 times in 15 years as a kid. And all these kids I knew who went to school with, they all had these friends I'd known since kindergarten and everything. And I'm like, my longest friend's 2 years. That's because I lived in 2 houses, but I lived into the same school. And that being on a Sunday night for me now, one of them usually gives me a call now. I think that's probably who was ringing before and I had to turn my phone off. I think it was. So yeah, he's been like a brother for life. So that's life. That's season, reason, life. But if you want a copy, I'll try and track it down for you guys anyway. If you're interested in a copy, let's have a look. What more have we got? Claudia Hitesh, totally often easier said than done. Hitesh, Claudia, it is on ongoing development with working on yourself all the time. I still have a lot to learn about myself. But you're doing a great job, buddy. You really are. Going deep with your conversations really had me glued to the next word you are going to say. Keep that up, Jay. Thank you, buddy. Hitesh is one of those guys I was talking about in the last couple of months of beautiful people I've met. This guy is, he's like a spiritual leader. He's not a guru, but what he does for home carers and entrepreneurs who are home carers and stuff. If you know someone that is, looking after an elderly family member and stuff like that, but they're also trying to, juggle their business as well as that, he's the guy you need to talk to. Beautiful guy. He's just all about trying to help people. So I'll tell people about you, man. You're a great person. So yes, I agree with the smart speaker about time. Yeah, exactly. I had to use some smart speaker today because someone rang and said, "Oh, it's whatever time it was." And I went, "No, it's not." And they went, "Yeah, it is." And I went, "No, it's not. I'm looking at the microwave." And they went, "Do you realize daylight saving time started?" I went, "Alexa." And I had to ask Alexa. And I went, "Oh, it has started. I did not know that." So that's why we're at a different time slot for tonight, guys, for those who have jumped on and thought, well, this is not where he was last time. I'm sorry. So Anyway, people, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you again one more time, saying thanks very much. There were a couple of other stories I wanted to get to, but I don't want to keep you guys. It's been 90 minutes of me babbling on. I hope you've got something useful out of it. I appreciate each and every one, as I always say, for you guys to jump on. Oh, I was supposed to leave that up there today. I did that earlier on and forgot to put it up. Oh, well, you know who you've been with. I'm Jay from Jayson Mair Coaching, JMC, your relationship coach, here to simplify those relationship struggles we have each and every day. I hope you have learned a lot out of today. Thanks, Hitesh. And to all those beautiful people who will watch the replay, by all means, I'll quickly, the question again, before we leave, if you want to think about it, by all means, where has that gone? There it is. We'll get it up one more time. The question of the week: what things does your partner appreciate about you, and what things do you appreciate about them? And when was the last time you told each other? Seriously, if you do, put it in the comments below, or you see my Facebook post about it, by all means, put Q&A, hashtag Q&A, and then answer it. It'd be just good, just to show other people. And this is also for people that are not in relationships. You know, what do you appreciate about people in your life? You know, you might have a best friend. Maybe look at it as a best friend. Do they appreciate you, and what do you appreciate about them? When was the last time you said, "Hey, dude, thank you for being there," or "Girl, you've listened to my crap for a while, so thank you," you know, or just "Thank you for making me smile." There are people in our lives that we need to say thank you for, that we don't say it enough. For me, there's certain new people in my life that I think I tell them that every day, and I think they're starting to get sick of me telling them that. But you know what I mean. But you got to do it. So anyway, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time, which is the same time this started tonight. So if you're around Wednesday night, Wednesday morning in the US, Wednesday day in the UK, Germany, Denmark, Scotland, by all means, well, not exactly midday, but you know, it's around during the day between 11 and 1. I think I will have to do an updated list because now it's daylight savings time. And be sure to tune in and hopefully see you Wednesday, guys. But until then, thank you very much. I've put my wrong introduction in, so I'll get that sorted. We're getting better each week, guys. So thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you all. And we'll see you at the next show. Thanks, guys. Bye.